Yeah, what's up, YouTube? So this is part 2 on tips on raising young black men, boys in the U.S. Let me hop right into it. Also, I think young black boys and, teenagers and whatnot, they need to find something that they like, something to occupy their mental state, or maybe free time. Okay, and what I mean by that is I had a friend who loved to draw. And that was his thing. So it was kind of a break from black culture. Him just liking to draw anime, especially. Sorry, stumbling. That's what he liked to do. And when he did that, it was an escape for him. Okay, it allowed him to go to new places and meet new people, and it was really interesting. These boys need their time to be occupied. They don't need free time. Free time is when people get into trouble. Now, we can say sports, but even with sports, you got to be careful, right? In terms of them playing basketball, football, whatever. It's definitely good in terms of playing, and, you have to keep your grades together. That's a good thing, you learn about teamwork, but you have to be careful of the hip-hop culture. That is a part of basketball. That is part of football. It's there. We know it's there. Okay? David Stern is probably, ripping his hair out every year when, more people of this new hip-hop influenced generation come into his league in football. And we see what it's doing in terms of just off-the-court issues. Okay? So, I'm a big advocate of sports because of what it can do. But also you have to remember that there will be certain negative influences that are attached to those sports. But preferably trying to instill in him some sort of liking or desire that is bigger than just being black. That's not, quote unquote, foreign to black men. I don't know what it can be. It can be something. Playing an instrument, appreciating a different type of music. You have to do your best to expand him to just more. One of the things that really helped me personally is, when I would run errands, my dad would always listen to smooth jazz, or when he was running errands and I was with him, he'd have smooth jazz. Out here we have 94.7 The Wave, and they play smooth jazz, and I think it's on AOL radio if you guys want to get down and listen to it. In that sort of smooth jazz, it just took me away. I don't know what it did. It took me away and it put me in a different mind frame, right? And that sparked my interest into other genres of music that really helped. That helped me escape. So even now, what I listen to in terms of music, I'll have Jay-Z, some Little Brother, some, different stuff that I listen to, but then I'll have some Enya on my, MP3 player. Or I have something that's not, quote unquote, black. And it helps me escape. So when you give a young black child or a young black boy or a teenager something outside of black culture, it is an escape for him, and it's a tool for him to see the world, right? See how big the world is, and just to see that you can be in so many different spots. Black culture, it's so damn limiting. I guess that's the thing I hate the most. It's so small. It's like being trapped in the closet in a freaking mansion, a palace. That's what black culture is. Other cultures, it's like at least you have a room or two. You may have the downstairs or, the backyard. But with black culture, it's like being in one half of a closet with the door closed and there's no light. So you gotta give them the key to unlock it. They have to open up the door. They have to go through it. Don't get me wrong. But you have to give them the opportunities to do it. And you don't know what form it's going to take. Okay? You can't force him to draw or force him to play an instrument, but you just have to expose him to different things so that can somehow turn into a spark. Second thing is teach them about women. Teach them about the trap. Teach them about how women will use them as a bad boy and use them as an excuse, okay? So you can have seen chicks who were just bad women, black, white, I don't care who they were, right? But they would make sure that when they was acting foul, they were around black men because it would be an excuse. It would be a phase. Their parents would say, "Oh, you see what happens when you mess with those black boys." And even if they got caught up, they can write it off as, "Oh, it was a phase." I was into black guys, and people will say, "Oh, yeah, she liked black guys. No wonder why she was smoking weed and doing all sorts of crazy things. It was the black men that that made her do that." So you have to expose these boys to that. They have to understand. It starts in middle school. I already see it. Right, every day I see how some of the girls use the black boys as a vessel to do wrong, because they know it's like, hey, when they'll take the heat, they'll take the bullet, right? So they have to be aware of that. Even in college, one of the biggest things that people don't know is, when black men turn 18 and they get old, we have this bad habit in the black community is as soon as the black men turn 18, oh, they're men. They're manly men, they're burly men, who can go out and do what they have to do, but they still need guidance. They still need guidance, more so than ever. Because there's a whole bunch of traps. Even in college, I've seen brothers fall off because they didn't understand the trap. So they got to school, okay? And on a college campus, you have to understand, all the women there were women who were pretty much on lockdown when they were in high school. Mommy and daddy said, you have to come home and study. They didn't do anything. So they're itching to go out. So they're itching to use black men as the vessels of, or use black men as that bad boy that their parents said they couldn't have. And you have black men who are so eager and willing to fulfill that desire. And what happens? They get kicked out. Academically, some because of alcohol or drug use. It happens all the time. You have women who are like, yeah, I'm not around mommy and daddy. Oh, black guys are here. These are the bad guys. They don't want the quote-unquote men who act like they're in college and, they're kind of the college men. Maybe that's when they get older. They want the dudes who still want to be that bad boy because that's what they couldn't get in high school because mommy and daddy were watching them 24/7. So a lot of black men, they have to fall for that trap. They can't fall for that trap. I've seen brothers not make it. And one of the defining characteristics of black men that did make it and, found college to be a productive experience were the ones that didn't buy into that bullshit, who refused to let people use them as some sort of tool to do negative because they can just write it off as being around black men. And I've seen dudes do it as well. The Indian dude or the Asian dude that wanted to be down and, when he got caught up or he wanted to change his situation, I was hanging out with the wrong people, and those wrong people happen to be black men. Go figure. What else I want to talk about? Let me see. In terms of what we can do. Talk about manhood. Manhood is something that you can talk to a man about from a very early age. Of course, it's like sex. The older they get, the more advanced the discussion will be. But it needs to start at an early age. I think they have to understand what manhood truly is, because in our society, manhood is questioned, it's belittled. You can turn on the TV and you'll see a whole bunch of sexual confusion, promoting this whole idea of just people to be sexually confused when in reality they know who they are. I'm not trying to take anything away from people who are gay or homosexual. I'm not trying to attack people, but I personally feel like we've reached the whole point of accepting gay relationships, but the problem is now that people want to force it upon other people. So you have people who want to corrupt young boys and girls who are straight and get them to act like they're confused, but in reality it's not going on. Okay. So I think men need to know what manhood is at an early age and know that people will try to question it, right? Not to be homophobic. I'm not trying to teach homophobia, but to know what's going on. It's funny because bad advice is given 24/7, but we want to save good advice. No, right? If evil is 24/7, good has to be 24/7. We don't get that. We want to be good 9 to 5, but evil works 24/7, 365. So you constantly have to be on your child to understand what's going on and what he will witness. Like I said, they're a whole lot more mature than we want to think they are. So let me see what else. I think I'll pretty much stop it here. Part 3, if I do, I'll probably do one, will be more so about when they get older. Like I said before, we stop when black men turn 17, 18, but they need you more. I still need guidance. Okay, I'm still somebody's son, right? And I still need people to look out, for me, and let me know what I'm not doing or what I need to look out for. So I'll probably do a part 3, and that will more so, I think, help older black men who are dealing with men of my age, or men who are in their 20s, or fathers who have sons of my age or whatnot, and maybe that can help some of the issues that I think younger black men have with the older generation, because there is a disconnect, and maybe the next video can kind of bridge that gap. So if there's anything I forgot, y'all let me know. Take it easy. God bless.